Hello there.
Hello.
Chris here, Rare Leather 140, and special guest tonight for my 50th review.
It's me.
It's the wife. You may have seen her, or you may have heard her as a disembodied voice, or you may have seen her on Mrs. Real Ale Guide's channel previously. Always useful, yeah, to have a wife.
I'm a very good wife.
Yeah, very good wife. And on that premise, the wife has introduced me to stout as a category of beer. It's not something I ever really went for. So tonight we thought we'd do, well, I suppose both of these are really Impys, aren't they?
I certainly are.
If you think of them. We've got the Bristol Beer Factory Imperial Stout, which is aged in Glenlivet Casks. And we've got
a Darkstar Imperial.
Which is the 2011 vintage.
Yeah, it is. It is the 2011.
And that's the great thing about these. When you get to this ABV of beer, you are starting to talk about vintages, because I mean.
Well, yeah. Apparently, I read.
Well, you look at there's the 2014 date on that, and you normally see maybe 6 months on a beer at the most.
I read somewhere the other day that anything over 10 or 10.5%, I can't remember which, they didn't need to put a best before on. There is on these.
Yeah.
But I have seen them without.
I think that the character of them will stand, whereas with some of the hoppier beers and the big hop, wildly hopped kind of IPAs, you're going to lose that freshness of the hops.
Yeah, definitely.
With this, the character of them generally is that it's
is that one bottle conditioned? Yeah.
It's aged in casks. I don't know if it's a bottle.
This one is.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So the date on these would kind of just keep going, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, we've got a couple of years to drink them, so you could potentially age them in the same as you would want.
Who would do that? Who could wait? I couldn't.
No, she couldn't. No. So, well, without further ado, let's get some glasses.
Let's have an ImpOff.
Yes, not forget to mention the Durham Brewery Impy, which is
Temptation.
The Temptation, which is one of my favourites.
It's not your favourite; it's my favourite.
Well, when I can get hold of it, it's one
I
of
drink
my favourites. She drinks it before I get hold of it.
How are we going to do this? All in one?
I don't know. Yeah, pour it in one go. Don't tip it too fast, otherwise you get all the bits in.
I know.
She knows. Well, I can tell you now, the Bristol Beer Factory is pouring very dark.
Yeah.
And very still. Not much.
Have you had either of these before?
No, I've not tried either of these ones. So, comparison then.
It's pretty similar. That one's
no real head on mine. You've got one
a
finger
bit
head,
of
maybe?
head, yeah. No, a little teeny, but more than that.
Yeah. Both come in 330 bottles, which is understandable. What I'm seeing on mine is almost like a red tinge.
Yeah, you can really see that. Is that picking up of anything? No, it's not. That's really red.
Just on the top. I mean, yeah, it's black as the ace of spades there, but
that's really ruby wine.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, at this ABV, you could be drinking a red wine. A weak one these days, because they're all up at 14%, but,
I'm really cold, sorry. It's still freezing, isn't it? I'm going to have to drink this really quickly, won't you?
Yeah, so, well, this will help us get one. And what we're going to do halfway through, presuming
that... swap.
Yeah, presuming I'm not enjoying this too much, we might do a swap. What are you getting on the nose on that, wife?
A sort of burnt chocolate. Getting chocolate. Smells good. A little bit boozy. I think this was the first Impy I ever tried, actually.
Really get the whiskey on the nose on that one.
Yeah. Again, I've tried these both before, so.
Whiskey's not my favourite thing, but I'll tell you what I do get from that. This has been aged in barrels, and this reminds me of a particular Australian red wine. What's the one? It's got a yellow bottle, it's got a yellow label.
The one with the...
I know the one. And that's aged in oak barrels as well. And some of the Faustino red wines.
Oh.
You can really conk that, can you? Yeah. So,
should we go for it?
Well, go first. Chin chin.
Cheers.
What do you think?
That mouthfeel is gorgeous.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
That reminds me. That reminds me of raiding my parents' alcohol cupboard when I was much younger, and maybe mixing up a few.
I can't concentrate. I'm too cold. That's better.
Mixing up a few of the drinks in the cupboard. Whiskey being one of them. That's just wild whiskey taste. That. That's bonkers.
That's funny because I don't remember it being like that, but it was a while ago. That's just gorgeous. That's absolutely gorgeous.
Is it thick, thin?
It's creamy. It's thick. It's
So this one's the opposite. I think it's smooth, but it's not creamy.
It's dangerously drinkable as well. 10.5%.
Huge licorice notes on this. You getting any on that?
Let me warm up a minute. Oh. It's just the way it feels. It's just full of flavour. It goes down. This is much nicer than I remember. Now, being in 2011, would that mean that I may have had a different one before?
Possibly, yeah. I don't know if they vary it much in terms of the quality of the beer. It might have been that this has been sat down for a year waiting to be drunk.
I don't know, do you? It's just brilliant.
So you've got a bit of chocolate on there.
It's a bit of chocolate. It's quite complex. What does it say? Roasted barley and... Okay. Doesn't really say much on there. Apart from about the Grateful Dead. It's a little bit cold, I would say. If that warms up a touch, it's going to give a bit more.
Yeah, with these, the character of them is such that as you sit
you get
there,
a very different beer as it gets. Yeah. The smell. You've got the booze. You've got the chocolate. You've got the roasted malt. Oh.
So there's no kind of.
Let's put all the IKEA flat pack furniture into.
I hate IKEA. With this one, I'm getting licorice. I'm not getting that kind of burnt roasted malt sense.
You'll get that on that one.
It's so good.
Is it too whiskey-ish for you?
I keep wanting to sniff it rather than drink it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
I think a good beer makes you do that.
And this is really this is warming my belly up like nobody's business.
You're gonna have to be. I'm gonna drink it all. This has got a bit of a wine sort of quality going on as well. Just only a little bit.
Taking a big draught of that. I've got massive hits of licorice. I've got huge hit of booze. It's got that, you know, when you take a really boozy drink and you can feel that kind of
the belly sort of
it feels
belly fire.
You feel it coming back up. You can feel like an invisible cloud coming back out of your mouth.
You getting that with that one? I think this one's a bit more.
But it's pleasant,
a bit more subtle.
And there's an aftertaste of coffee in there as well, and a touch of chocolate. It's really quite nice.
I'm not getting much coffee off this one.
Do you want to swap these?
Probably there, yeah. Let's swap. That's not fair. You need to drink a bit more to make it fair. Look, I drink more than you.
You just drink it slower.
Go on then. Let's swap.
We just did. There's a little bit more in that as well.
Is it? It just smells amazing. That smells absolutely gorgeous. I really like whiskey. I have had this before.
You like the Jura, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Jura's good. It's the only one I've tried though. We need to get more whiskey. Let me try this.
The carbonation is much more present than this. That's flatter, it's silkier. This gives you a little bit of fizz.
Yeah, it's quite a marked difference actually.
That's much more like a wine.
Yes, this is much more like. I would say this is much more like a porter again. Yeah, isn't it? It's much more portery than that one.
Not portery, but port-ish.
Yes, it is port. Yes,
it's portish.
Very much. Oh yes,
it's
exactly.
Smooth. It's smooth like a port. It drinks like port.
We've got a couple of really good ports,
it's got that red. And you're never going to get that on the camera. It's got that red tinge.
I would have missed that then. Absolutely. Oh, but you'd never know port though. Port. What's the strength of that? It's about 20% ABV.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say because you'd never drink that much in a glass of port, would you?
No, but then you'd have maybe a third of a glass of that for a port. So.
And maybe times 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, the oak barrels, was it? Was it?
Mm. Yeah, the oaks and the
Yeah,
massive ones.
yeah, that's very, very much like
This is some really good stuff. Where do you
I'm
want to go?
guessing.
What
you
did you
prefer
want?
that one?
Do you know what? I don't.
Really?
For me, we'll get to a rating in a second, but for me, Bristol Beer Factory has done a win. That, if I'm to drink an Impy at 10.5%, 10.8, that one?
10.7.
10.7%.
Where's it gone? Yeah,
If I'm gonna-
3.6 units in that
Yeah.
little mini bottle.
If I'm going to drink a beer at 10.7%, it's going to be this one.
This is
This
really
is lovely, don't get me wrong. You know, so well done,
It's
Darkstar.
funny you should say that. That was the first Impy I tried. It was when I was quite new to beer. Don't know where it came from.
Probably my
Can't
beer
remember.
cupboard.
It didn't blow me away. Obviously, I think your palate changes. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But-
And I had the Lion Imperial Stout, so did you?
Yeah,
From Ceylon. And
Sri Lanka.
that was nicer. Ceylon is in Sri Lanka.
I know.
Geography, not the
Disgusting.
wife's strong point. Oh dear. Excuse me. They're both really
They're
good.
very different though.
They're different. They're both in the same class. One gives a massive hit.
Like now you've
of lots
said
of things.
port, I can't
It's port,
get that up of my
there's
head. It's
licorice,
just like drinking
there's-
a massive
there's
glass
dark
of port.
raisins, and this is much more of a character of your stout.
And this is flat as a pancake.
Imped up. Yeah, that's what this is.
Yeah. Is you what?
It's a classic stout style.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
imped up.
yeah,
I would suggest.
yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Or is that as a standalone drink? That
pretty
is
good, isn't it?
that is out there on its own.
Yeah, there's an awful lot more coffee in this,
Mm.
actually, because again, you sort of get the whole coffee with cream on top with the booze in. What's that?
The floater coffee.
Yeah,
whatever you
yeah,
wanna
it's
call
like
it.
that.
So, ratings?
Oh, are we going to go with this one for the win?
Yeah.
I think I might too.
Bristol Beer Factory wins.
I think it
That's
does.
2 votes to no.
But that one's really good too. So,
It's really good.
You know.
I mean, what you want to do is almost put them in a slightly different class.
Yeah.
You know, and say
That's the really, I think for me the great thing about the Impy, you know, the Durham Brewery, the whole ImpOff thing. I love them. I that's my favourite class of beer. Except they're so strong, so
they are quite strong. Okay,
and they're
So-
also different.
a rating for each.
I'm gonna go a 9 and an 8.
Okay, I'm going to go a 9.5 and an 8.5. I like
Really?
both of these. These are really good. And I love the smooth character of this, but I love the slightly fluffier character of this as
Yeah.
well. So, well done.
I don't think with either of them you'd guess that they were that strong from tasting them.
No,
You
I
know,
mean,
they're
if you wanted to play a practical joke on somebody in the pub, then slip them a pint of this and see how they get on.
Oh, bloody hell.
Because they'll sing that without even thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe
This
you
is
shouldn't do that. That's irresponsible.
bad, Chris.
Yes, bad Chris. Okay, so, okay,
Congratulations on your 50th review, Open.
yes, thank you,
Well done.
wife. I couldn't have done it without you. Oh, I could have done it a bit quicker if I hadn't drunk all my beer. Okay, so, good work, Darkstar Brewery. But even better work, Bristol Beer Factory.
Imperial Stout.
Rock on. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Go away.
Shoot.
We're going to go and do some role play or something now.
Have we?
Well, probably. Keep it out for the camera.